So thank you everybody for coming tonight. You know what, it was short notice. Some of you probably got an invitation less than a week ago, and to see that the hall is full, everyone is pitched up, give yourselves a round of applause, because that's testimony to wanting to align yourself with Ellies. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and thank you to Ellie, to the Ellies group. This is testimony to the many, many years that they've been in business and they've been serving those out in the field, and obviously it's payback time and you guys have come tonight. So thank you for that. Really, it's incredible to see. I mean, we do events all around the world. I speak all around the world, and it's amazing that they'll invite 100 people or 200 people and a third will pitch up, but the room is full. So that is absolutely incredible. My function tonight is to take you through some ideas, to share some concepts, and to show you where Ellies is going. You know, when they first phoned me up and said, come and help out with the Ellies program, the EGI program, I had to go and Google Ellies to find out, you know, I mean, I know who Ellies are. I mean, you go into every single retail store, you see them there, but I didn't understand the magnitude in terms of, especially from a green perspective. And I'm a little bit of an expert on green in terms of alternative energy. I've been in the industry for 10 years. I understand the business, I understand green. So I'm going to give you some concepts tonight, and then we're also going to do an unveiling. We're going to show you something really, really exciting that is, you guys will be really happy that you came in tonight. So without further ado, the Ellies Green Initiative is obviously compounded and brought together by the vision of Ellie. Ellie just said, you know what, green energy, we have to save the planet. And it's something that people don't really and truly focus on. You know, unless it affects your pocket, we don't really care. I mean, how many of you in the room, let me ask you, how many people in the room recycle your rubbish? Raise your hands. Okay, that's what, 10% of the room. Now, some people say, yeah, but if they just brought a bin to my house and made it easier, I would recycle. Yes, you would, but no one's doing it. Very few people are doing it. In fact, South Africa is, we're right at the bottom in terms of recycling. In terms of green energy, we are nowhere near as mobile and as active as the rest of the world in terms of converting to a greener world, a more sustainable planet, and looking at, you know, basically looking after our planet that looks after us right now. And so I saw this saying a little while ago, and I live by it. May we live in interesting times. It's a Chinese proverb, and hasn't, or wouldn't you agree that things have changed in the last 5 years? I mean, it was 2007 when the first blackouts happened, and how many of you were ready for blackouts? Raise your hands. No one. Now the scary thing is, we had these rolling blackouts, or load shedding as they call it, and it ended in around about May or so. How many people after that continued to, you know, get themselves equipped and ready if they could get their hands on, you know, alternative energy solution? Most people just said, well, you know, the lights have come back on again, I'm not going to do anything. But it's not just about blackouts, it's about the whole vision of going green, the whole vision of sustainability, the whole vision of saving the planet. Every LED that you put in your home, you save electricity, makes a difference. Every single time you do anything, solar panel, whatever it is, it makes a difference to the planet. Now most people say, I don't care about the planet, you know what, I'll be dead in 20 years, it's somebody else's problem. I don't want my kid or my grandkids breathing through some sort of breathing apparatus because we said, you know what, screw it, we'll do our own thing. I don't want that. So that's been a quest of mine. I've been pushing that for years and years and years. And so I want to show you a short clip. Maybe we can just dim the lights and just have a look at this. It's narrated by a very good friend of mine. He lives next door to me. Maybe you'll recognize his voice.
One day, we will wake up to find that the energy that powers the alarm clock came from the breeze through the trees the night before. And we will go to work that morning riding the rays of the sun. It will light our cities and power our businesses. It will warm our homes and cool our workplaces. It will reduce sources of conflict and fuel our economies. It will connect us all. It won't scar the land or poison the seas. The food we eat will be good for our bodies and good for the planet. And the weather that day won't make us worry for tomorrow. There There will be more jobs and less disease. The sea level will stop rising, and species will stop dying. The question is, how do we get to that day from where we are today? All 7.3 billion of us. We start by deciding that beyond our doubts and differences, such a day truly exists. And that is something each of us can do today. We can make today the day we stop thinking that the changes required to get there are impossible and beyond us, and start realizing that they are not only possible, but what the future requires of us. We must stop turning from the warnings of science and fear and denial, and instead turn toward the solutions and partnerships we need. We can make today the day we stop pointing at each other in blame, and instead chart a new course together. We have never faced a crisis this big, but we have never had a better opportunity to solve it. We have everything we need to wake up to a different kind of world. We need our leaders to be brave and their choices to be bold. They will either remember us as the generation that destroyed its home, or the one that finally came to respect it. We have every reason in the world to act. We can't wait until tomorrow. This is our only home. You can choose today to make a world of difference.
What a lot of people don't realize is that every single person can make a difference. The small things compounded with everybody. If everybody buys in, it'll happen. But unfortunately, when it's not affecting your pocket, it's not affecting your life, it's not affecting your family, it's not affecting your business, who cares? And Ellies, when I sat with Ellie and I just discussed it, I could just see the emotion in him when we talk about green initiatives. And you know, a lot of people don't realize how far they've gone down the road. If you take a look at the products, you know, energy saving, the LED side of things, and it's a tough business because it's more expensive than an incandescent globe, so you've got to find creative ways to sell it. Most people go, well, this only costs me X and that costs me Y. Why would I want to buy that? They don't realize the knock-on effect. Yet, as a company, the Ellies Holdings group of companies has decided we need to go down that road, and they've done it. If you go into retail stores, you see the evidence that they've done the research. Now with blackouts, inverters coming online, you know, just alternative energy solutions. It's a company with vision that does that. Most people just go, oh, you know, we'll make a little bit of money. When I sit with Ellie, often we have a discussion and I'll say, you know, this is a great industry. And I say, no, but we've got to be fair. We've got to be right. We've got to do it, you know, for the person on the street. And every time we throw an idea out there, he challenges us, which I love because it shows me he's a man who cares, the organization cares about the environment, about the consumer. At the end of the day, the consumer puts the money in our pocket. So why can't we save the planet and make money at the same time? That's really the question I want to ask you. How many of you would like to make more money? Raise your hands. Some people say, yeah. Some people say, I'm not putting my hand up, it's stupid. He's going to try and sell me something. I'm not putting my hand up. But the truth is, every one of us could do with a little bit more money, and believe it or not, we're all sitting in an opportunity right now. We are already in people's homes. We are already installing. We are already adding value. Wouldn't it be great to be able to add a higher level of value, not just monetarily, but to be able to help the environment as well? And that, for me, is very, very important. So, with every adversity, carries a seed of equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill said it better than ever. And truly, you know, some people, when load shedding came about, they threw their hands in the air and started crying, and oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And some people said, hey, how can I make some money out of this? How can I build an industry around this? And that's really the essence of entrepreneurship. Business is about seeing opportunities when there's a problem, finding a solution and selling the solution. right? That's how you make money. That's how entrepreneurship is born. And so I'm going to talk about three great pillars. Number one thing that Ellie alluded to is obviously the changes, and one is obviously the global changes, global warming, what is happening in the world right now. And we don't always notice, the whole process of it, but, in 1994, 2004, Al Gore made a documentary, and traveled all around the world telling people about global warming. Right? And then we started getting movies and different advertising and marketing campaigns. This group, the WWF, and that's not worldwide wrestling, the WWF, since 1961, I mean, how many years is that? It's like 54 years, have been standing on a soapbox saying, save the planet, save the planet. But people haven't really and truly listened. They tied themselves on boats. They strapped themselves to trees. All kinds of crazy things to get people to understand the risk, to understand what's going on. And we've seen the movies. We've seen the Leonardo DiCaprio 11th Hour movie, which was fantastic, where he talks about it. And it's just education, education, education. You know that it takes over 185 exposures for you to believe something new. 185 exposures to believe a new trend, a new idea, a new thought. When they started, that wasn't me. When they introduced the smoking laws in South Africa, you weren't allowed to smoke in restaurants. Most people said, well, then stuff it. I won't eat out anymore. And the worst thing that could have happened is the restaurants opened smoking areas. And then you got away with it. But the truth is, it took 7 years for us to become accustomed to the fact that, you know what, it's not cool, let's do it. 7 years of exposure. We are so slow to change. Human beings, if you... Who's never changed? Are you still smoking? This is a non-smoke zone.
I haven't done it 185 times.
Oh, I see. Very nice. Very nice. So if you take a frog and you put him in a pot of cold water, right, and turn the heat on, the frog will boil to death. Because the water, gets hot slowly, and he doesn't feel it, he gets comfortable, and then it's too late, and he dies. But if you take a frog and stick him in boiling water, he immediately jumps out. And that's the same with this type of problem, is that if it was in our face, big time, we'd do something. But it isn't. It's gradual. It's like your eyesight. The first time I went and had my eyes tested, I mean, I was in movies going, focus the cinema, focus! Focus! And I didn't realize I was going blind. I thought I was right. I thought the cinema was wrong. And then I go to an optometrist, they put a pair of specs on me. How many of you have experienced this? You walk outside and you can see the leaves on the trees. It's amazing. Because before that I just saw this big blurry green thing. It's the same with this. Clarity comes when someone puts it under a microscope. And so, 2004 we saw changes. We had a whole new era of awareness. And I know this is hugely boring, but the bottom line is, it's one planet. We all breathe the same air. Every one of you are breathing the air of somebody else who just breathed out. So the person next to you smoking, Ellie,